So I've been doing a little bit of research on Super Nintendo and the modifications, things like that. What I've really found out is that there's some amazing modifications out there. If storage space wasn't a limitation back when the Super Nintendo was a mainstream production, we would have had a very, very, very different set of games. This is Killer Instinct for the Super Nintendo. By now, everyone might know what this one looks like, what this one sounds like. The arcade version is very different from the Super Nintendo version. It's a pretty good port, but it's just that, it's a port. Got pretty good graphics, pretty good sound. The animation, it goes backwards, it goes forwards. Backwards a couple frames, forwards a couple frames. This one's got a breathing animation. You know, there's not a whole lot of animations. There's, 5 or 6 frames on each person. Pick Saber Wolf. You get static photos here. I'm just playing as an example. So you can hear the quality of the sound. Now they digitized all this sound. This wonderful soundtrack that they had in the arcade. In the arcade they had a hard drive. So they had relatively limitless amounts of space, just like a CD would. And at the time, CDs and hard drives were the only way to do large amounts of storage. On the Super Nintendo, they were trying to fit all this into 4 megabytes. That's right, 4 megabytes. So they had to fit an entire soundtrack, graphics, everything into 4 megs. And, I think they did fantastic, considering what they had to work with. But this is the game you ended up with. Again, static pictures, the sound, kind of sucks. What people have done is they have made patches, and specifically sound patches, using what they call the MSU1, and they've been able to stream in CD quality audio, which the system is capable of. You can already hear how much cleaner, crisper that sounds. That is a CD quality audio file. It's basically streaming PCM data. Again, if the developers would have had access to larger storage, if we would have gotten the Super Nintendo with the CD-ROM, this is the kind of sound we would have had. The animation doesn't change here, but the sound adds a whole new dimension. Oh, it sounds so much better than that super compressed. such a feeling. And I listened to this soundtrack over and over, hundreds of times. I had the CD. It was packed in with the game. I bought the game at retail when it first came out, on opening, first day it was available. I believe I got it at Target. Oh! It was fantastic. Had a blast. Hey, there. If I turn my lights on. So, I was thoroughly impressed. Fixing the sound adds a whole new dimension to the game. Only recently, in the last few months, there have been some updates to the what they call the SD to SNES, or the FX Pack Pro. And what that has allowed them to do is not just stream audio, but also stream data. Somebody has made, and it's fairly playable now, but only just now. It was playable on emulators previously. I'm on real hardware here. They've got what they call the KI Arcade Mega Patch. Full, just like the arcade. The sound, again, instead of that boring logo, you get this full motion video.
Available for your home in 1995, only on Nintendo Ultra 64. Killer Instinct.
And the data for this, you can tell they took this directly from the arcade, but the data for this comes in at about 250 megabytes. Now you can see there's some graphical glitches over in the corner by the Rareware logo. The sound is amazing. Full motion video is amazing. They've got all these intros. But originally this game was 4 megabytes. Compare that to closer to 250 megabytes. They did great with what they had.
Killer Instinct. Killer Instinct.
What they've done with this game is no short of a miracle. They went back to the spinning instead of those 5 frames of animation. So I'll choose my Saberwolf. And again, it's not perfect. I see some graphical glitches at the top. These full motions are never perfect. They don't work very well. And there I've got some major slowdown. I don't know why I didn't do this last time, but... the sound is upgraded. Got the stuff in the back. And again, I don't know why this is doing this slowdown. It didn't do this last time when I played on the hardware. Let's get this particular level over with. And we'll see if we get the slowdown in some other levels. And the graphical glitches are getting a bit worse. They were trying to do some full motion video in the background there, where it's just static images. Got the animated Supreme Victory.
Fight on. Ready.
Oh, see, this is also doing the slowdown. So let's reset this. I'm gonna try it again. It was working, fairly well previously.
Killer instinct. Saber fight on. Ready.
Again, I'm seeing the slowdown, some glitches. Let's see if we can get it to play nice.
Killer instinct. Orchid fight on.
Yo, check this out.
Ready.
Okay. Brutal combo. Get busy. Get busy. Ultra combo.
Supreme victory.
Again, mostly playable. Makes it almost like the arcade game. This is fantastic.
Fight on.
I've never seen anything like this. They introduced sprite animations that weren't there before. They've got full motion video. They've reintegrated all sorts of stuff. I'm talking about it not even paying attention and playing the game, getting my butt kicked. But with all the craziness, the earlier stream with the technical difficulties and such, I wanted to come back and show some of the things that I didn't get to show earlier. And these MSU1 versions of games are just fantastic. There's a couple other ones that it really makes a huge difference. Some of the games that are on here: Castlevania, Chrono Trigger, Contra 3, F-Zero, Final Fight 2, Gradius 3, Legend of Zelda, of course, Mortal Kombat games, R-Type, Rock and Roll Racing, gotta love that. Sunset Riders, fantastic. Mario Kart, Mario World, Metroid. Now, I want to play. There's so many great titles here. I want to hear Mario Kart. What kind of improvements did they make? Mario Kart, by the way, for everyone who doesn't know, fits in 512 kilobytes. Let's put that into perspective. 512 kilobytes. Well, 1 second of this video that you're watching is more than 512 kilobytes. A screenshot of this video is probably more than 512 kilobytes. Wow. Again, this is streaming in CD quality sound. It just sounds 1000% different. It's not what I'm used to hearing. It's kind of throwing me off. I've been listening to this game for 30 years. Completely throwing me off. Woo! Much more tropical, this version. But that's how much the sound changes the game. It's that easy. Now, I am super curious after that experience. Castlevania, Chrono Trigger, Contra 3. What could we do for Contra 3? I'm curious. Alright, we went total metal. A piano, huh? interesting that it really, wow. Not that this isn't a great bunch of music for this, that it just throws it, and that piano really does throw it. Just crazy how much the music makes all the difference in these games. Let's see, let's try another one that I'm intimately familiar with. Let's try Super Metroid. I try not to judge too harshly. It's different. It's not what I'm intimately familiar with. It's a little more epic and
The last Metroid
is
is
in
in captivity.
captivity. The
The
galaxy
galaxy
is at
is
peace.
at peace.
Or so you think. The mother brain. Oh, it's just so different. Alright, well, thank you for joining me. Episode 1.5. This is absolutely something we will explore further. That music is just so... I wonder if they got an orchestral compilation. It's so great. Not that the original wasn't fantastic. This is just next level. So this is what happens when you can stream PCM data into a Super Nintendo game. So if you can stream in sprites and music, that means this is a super powerful platform that you could actually do, you know, if you're free from the limitation of the cartridge, or at least the size of the cartridge nowadays, you could probably make some pretty amazing games on the Super Nintendo platform. When I picked up a distress signal, I know. Ceres was under attack. Ceres Station. Space colony. They've changed this background music. said, I'm intimately familiar with this, the sounds, the look of this particular game, and several other games on the Super Nintendo. I have a really strong, deep personal connection to this console. Not sure a whole lot of people would would even understand, but it's a pretty deep console connection. Hi, Ridley. You stink. You stink out loud.